So far, the crew has cleared every hurdle naysayers have placed in their way.
Hello, welcome to the club. I'm your host, Mars, and this is the Upper 90 Club, roundtable podcast where four friends discuss the Columbus Crew. On this episode, we review two games in which 2 goals were scored in each. The Crew played the top of the East and the bottom of the East and tied both 1-1. Wrap your mind around that.
Wrap your mind around tip of the hat.
One was away. The away game. Okay, so the away game was against
Tip of the
Montreal. The home game was against Cincinnati.
Right.
We'll talk about those. Probably more Cincinnati than Montreal. We've got thoughts. We've got players. We've got internets to read. We've got the rundown. We've got the predictions table. We got some correct picks.
Ooh,
I think we had a winner of the giveaway.
Second round
So
giveaway.
we're gonna re-rack that one and start over. So anyway, welcome to the club. With me are Ben, Mort, and Trey. Say, hey guys.
Hey guys.
Hello, Israel.
Hey guys.
If you say "Hey guys" really fast, it kind of sounds like Haas. He's gone. He's at some cool concert.
Oh no,
Where
he's
is
here. He just popped in. Oh, hi, my hat only tips this far. Okay, tip of the hat.
I don't know where he is.
He's
Is he
a
in Salt Lake
Kilby
City?
block
I
party
feel like
he goes
whenever
to.
he leaves, he's in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, 100%.
His the Mormon Mecca.
Yeah,
They
he
always-
acts like
yeah,
he's
they-
going
They
to.
pray to the west.
Yeah, he acts like he's gonna go see a concert, but he just goes he calls home. Goes to synagogue or what do they call it?
No, temple.
Tabernacle.
Temples.
So, I don't know what he's doing.
Temple of the
He's
hat.
not practicing for the big Cube tournament coming up
right.
this summer. So, anyway, so he's gone. But you guys are here. We're Ben, you and Mort both were at Hell is Real yesterday.
What a day!
It sounds like it was their Cirque du Soleil kind of like myriad of activities and
Performances.
attractions.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
It's a performance event. That's what it was.
Yeah,
And
then-
we managed to not see each other, even though we were like 100 feet apart.
Yeah.
Well, so was it bananas crazy? I mean, was it up to the hype?
Yes.
Dude,
it
is
was
this
fun.
the biggest game of the year for us? The home game against Cincinnati. Is this our biggest game?
Yeah,
it is, right?
Outside of like playoff games and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's what I
well,
mean.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And it
The
felt
game
like
that we host Cincinnati, that's our biggest home regular season game.
Yeah, walk-ins, both teams, all that. You actually have a proper guest supporter section in there, and
There's a lot
Yeah.
of Cinci fans, which
Yeah.
you normally don't get, like a lot of away fans at those games. It was awesome. I don't know.
it was fun.
Vibes
It was
were
fun.
sick, dog. Vibes were sick.
Well, I mean,
Friendships.
I was there for the Miami game last year. That felt pretty like monumental because we were both in a supporters shield push at the time, before the first whistle, but not after the last whistle.
Very true.
But we gave away that home game this year.
Mhm.
So awesome. Okay, and then Trey, you watched from home.
I did. Yep,
Did you watch live?
I did. And
So
it
did
was
I.
hell. Yep.
It was hell. I
was
actually
hell.
had a big Cincinnati contingent in my home. We had a family event with all family in my home
Well,
during the
your
game.
wife is from Cincy.
She is, yes.
Didn't she make vague threats of becoming like a FC Cincinnati fan?
No,
Because
No,
divorce
she's-
is that why?
she's good. I mean, we used to do like drumming with the La Turbina, and I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
that's true.
long before Cincinnati ever felt the dominance of their big brother to the east. If you look at a map, we're actually
Yeah.
much more east than we are
north. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, and I'm just now noticing. I'm looking at the FC Cincinnati logo. It's pretty close to like Skyline colors, isn't it?
I mean, probably. It makes perfect sense.
It does. So anyway, yeah. So we had
It's not chili.
there weren't a lot of
Skylinis.
there weren't a lot of people watching the game with me, but I had a bunch of Cincy folks in my house.
I did some crazy. I went solo to the game. Have you guys? I mean, yeah, like I don't, especially now that I'm older.
You made it home.
That's a fun move. That's
Life
fun.
flight
You
at home.
just do your thing,
It was wild. Well, I mean, first shouts to Justin, our buddy Justin. He tailgates, but every game he tailgates, he doesn't go into the game until 30 minutes after whistle. So I was down there. I was like, so are we gonna go in? And he's like, nah. He just lit up a cigar, and I was like, I gotta go watch the game. It was crazy because so he's parked at the boathouse, and I'm like, I'm gonna go. And then right before I left, this guy pulls up. He gets out of the car. He's solo. We're both wearing the Supporters Supply
90s kit?
No, the flannel.
Oh.
He's like, ho. And I was like, hey, what's going on? He's like, and so we're like, hey, man, do you want to have a beer?
Hey, friend.
And he's like hanging out. And he's like, yeah, I come to these. I just been coming by myself. He's like, he's like, well, I was sober.
Hold on.
Me too.
Let me stop you there. Okay. So your friend that you know
Yes.
for a long time doesn't go into the game on time. You asked him if he wanted to go in. He said no. And you said, I got to go. And then you saw someone who was wearing the same shirt as you. You're like,
You're saying it's a mirror.
fuck it, I'm staying out. Let's get a beer. Do I understand you correctly?
No, it was like, I was like, I was like, do you want to chug?
You are one thirsty man.
Yeah, dog. Rivalries only happen once a year in this Columbus. No, I was like, you want to crush a claw? Do one of them, you know what I mean? Or whatever the cool kids say.
I don't know what that euphemism is, but
Crush a claw. It's a White Claw thing.
Oh, okay.
All the kids are saying it. All the kids are cool as crap.
So instead of coming by yourself, you came together.
Yeah.
All right, phrasing on that. But I ended up leaving. He was still drinking with Justin, so I went in the game. And I stood where we normally stand, just being like, all right, I'll see my people. Like I
Wait, did you tell that whole part of the story for no reason whatsoever? Just to say you left him and then walked in the game like you were playing?
We were also wearing the same shirt. I thought that was cool. I don't know. People dress like me. I'm like stoked about it. You know what I'm saying? But then I get in there, and then this is where Mort can even attest. So we stand above 120, and I was like, all right, I'll see people there. I always see people I know or whatever. And I didn't know anybody. And I look over to my left after kickoff for a little bit. I'm like, there's nobody here. And I look over and there's just one guy.
Was it the guy?
The Romanian guy.
Oh, it wasn't the guy with the same shirt.
He looked over at me and he had 2 beers in both of his hands, and he's solo too. And I was like,
how big were his hands?
He's a big hand. He's a big dude. He's bigger than me.
Two beers in each hand?
Wait, is that what I said?
Yes, that's what you said.
You know what? I'm going to go with that because that's way cooler than one beer in both hands. But he just scooted over to me and he's like, hello. And we just start talking. And the entire game, he's so intense. He was making fun of, all right, so for example, he was yelling at the ref and he's like, turn the ref into sausage. I was like, what? That's the style. He was yelling at the team.
Have you met this person before?
Never in my life.
So how did he was just said he was Romanian, and then
we just started talking.
Later,
he was clearly. I was like, so where are you from? He wasn't going to be Dayton. You know what I mean? I was like, where are you from? He's like, Romanian. I was like, oh, sweet. So we just ended up. So I hang with this guy who's
no garlic bread for me. Yeah,
great. He was just
a Dracula joke.
So much fun, and Mort, you met him too, because Justin ended up coming up, and Justin got engaged with him, and it's so hard not to be he was so intense the entire game. I was just like, this is so much fun. This guy is awesome.
Was
Justin
he there
next to him.
Was he there to cheer on the crew?
to refrain.
Yeah, he's a huge crew fan.
Okay.
And he has been for years.
It looked like fun. I didn't have time for the fun, so I moved on with my son.
It was crazy. So that was great.
Was his name Alexandru Matan?
No, yeah. We talked about Matan though. I was like, we had a Romanian. I was like, Matan. He's like, yes, Alexandru. I was like, oh, dude. I mean, my accent's. You probably thought it was actually him talking, but it was
spot on.
Yeah. So he was awesome, and then I did get to meet. I was texting you guys when I went to the bathroom, and there was a guy behind me, full corpse paint, I mean, there's a guy behind me because it's a guy's restroom.
May I ask what is
I
corpse
feel like
paint?
I'm saying crazy stuff. You guys are losing your mind. I met Paco is what I'm trying to say.
What is corpse paint?
Paco.
Corpse paint. Corpse paint's like the Norwegian black metal paint. Like Danzig,
Like-
Misfits. That's
Like-
common knowledge.
Like zombie-ish, white, grayish
Yeah, dog.
face? Okay, okay. I'm just clarifying, audio format.
Okay, Dad, it's called corpse paint. All the cool kids are doing it. Go see The
Yep.
Cure. But so I hung out with him. I got to meet him. He's the I would say of all the crew people I've met since the start of this pod, Paco is probably my favorite.
Oh,
He was
corpse
so
paint.
nice.
Kiss.
That bar is high.
I know, he
That's
like
a
alienating
high bar,
anyone.
man.
I was like, "You're running, heck yeah, dog!" Because I turned around and I was just like,
He ran the flying pig.
"Yeah, he's." I
Couple
was like,
years
"Dude,
ago,
you
right?
are a straight."
Yeah.
I was like, "You're a monster runner." While we were peeing next to each other, as one does. But he's like, "Yeah, I don't know, man." The whole thing, the whole day was just. It was really weird going, just solo in there and like. I mean, eventually I saw Rex and his lady and we hung out and stuff like that. But it was just such a bizarre experience, like out and
Rex,
about.
shout out to your new hairdo. That was cool.
Mine?
No, Rex. He had a
Rex.
little
Oh yeah,
mohawk-
he had the
mohawk on.
The mohawk. Oh, and I did run around during halftime. That's why I missed you and met up with the Cincinnati podcast guy.
Oh,
That
nice.
guy's a sweetheart. He was there with his wife and
Oh yeah, and you guys were on the. What was
Trey and I
They have
were-
like a whole deal.
Cincinnati
Jersey swap.
Jersey swap.
well, that was like part of their
Part
actual
of
umbrella.
Cincinnati Soccer Talk.
Yeah.
Yep.
They
So
do
when
a
I'm-
great job.
So when I missed you, and because I took Finn at halftime over to see his buddy that sits in the kind of opposite corner from us, we get over there and I start talking to his friend's dad. Of course, as we might cover, Aiden was there. I know we go back to that. Everybody that was there knew this happened, but he came over to our section, so we got a little moment with him and
Aiden
took some
Morris.
pictures. Aiden Morris, yeah. No, the other Aiden.
Well, you didn't. You said he, and I want to make
no,
sure.
I said
yeah.
Aiden.
You guys
But,
are gaslighting us. We might be hungover, but like I feel like we're still pretty
Well,
snappy.
you said I was talking to his dad.
No,
Aiden
but-
was there. He
No,
came
he was
over
sitting
to us.
right.
Yeah.
He was sitting right in the same section, I think, maybe with his Ohio family,
Yeah.
kind of that. So he was really cool. Took some pictures with the kids.
Columbus Crew
made
royalty.
my
Yeah.
friend's wife almost lose her mind.
yeah, dog.
You know, it was very distracting for the rest of the.
I didn't even realize he was there until you
So-
sent the
so
photo.
nice.
Was it at halftime they honored him? Because I
No,
it
so
was before the
so,
game.
So before the game, when they have the official kickoff, they
It's when he was
they
out in
bring
the
out a
parking
kid.
lot
The kid's gonna
swapping shirts.
shoot a goal, right?
we were in the same shirt.
And then they were like, "Oh, what happened to the ball?" So they put like some kind of plastic ball there or something like that. And then they said, "Oh, where's the ball?" And then Aiden Morris was
Oh, here you
walking
go.
up with
kid.
the "Here's the
Yeah.
ball." The funny part was they asked the kids like, "By the way, who's your favorite player?" And I think he was supposed to say Aiden Morris, and he said Patrick Schulte.
He's like
And
Patricia
then,
Schulte.
then
It's like,
Aiden Morris come
"Dad,
walking
God."
out like it's like
At least he didn't say Lionel Messi.
Well, so Aiden came out. By the way, that was that got the place really pumped up. I mean, the fact that you can sing his song, the whole stadium was singing his song.
That's awesome.
Before we even get the match igniter going. So
He's here.
And that was
He's there.
Archie
He's
Griffin.
there.
right?
which was a good match igniter. I was
Oh,
pretty
it's
pumped when I
Archie.
saw it. I was
Archie's
like,
good.
"That's
Yeah.
tight. That's cool."
so no, they really got it fired up, and I think we're going to cover some of the other artistic performances during this whole thing.
Yeah.
A little bit later as well.
Sounds
Okay.
like a lot.
All right.
yeah.
Well, let's get into it. I think we're just quickly before we get into the Cincy game, we need to know what happened at Montreal on Wednesday. So Trey, lay that out for us.
Facts that could save your life.
All right, we played a game in Montreal. They scored. Russell Rose scored, and we tied 1-1. And now on to Cincinnati.
I like that summary.
That's it.
Trap game, by the way.
yeah.
The only note I will say
Trap
about
game.
this, I would say that hurt us. Because in 3 games now, we might as well lost 2 and won 1. Granted, we took away points from our competitors by having ties.
Yeah, okay.
But
Yeah, I
other than
guess.
that, I mean, like, it counts for us. It counts just as much
Yeah.
to win
Yep.
1 and lose 2. And that game we should have won, and we would have had a very, very good. I would say that would have been a good cash in on those 3 games.
Montreal's
but 3
so
not good
bad.
enough.
They're so bad. They lost like 5 to
6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Without going through lineups and everything else, heavy rotation.
Sure. It wasn't
Putting a
that
lot
heavy.
of-
There's only 2 different people, right?
Savatsky and Rossi was really the key
But
people
the
out.
subs that came in
Sure.
as well.
And then they didn't put them back.
Speaking of heavy and but the subs, we did see Piet. We'd be remiss
did.
not to mention
Yes,
that.
he came in.
Yeah.
Go Crew. It's over.
Yes, on that, man.
Still
Tuck it.
good.
Man. Talk about Canadian hams.
Ooh, baking cakes back there.
And it was an
boom, boom, boom. Happy
you
birthday to
mean
me.
like cakes made of bacon.
Oh man. Bacon,
so
bacon cakes.
all,
That's a great name.
all the goals scored by Canadians. Okay,
True.
let's roll on.
All right.
And get into the Hell is Real Derby from last night at home.
Saturday, May 17th, in the fiery confines of lower.com, the Crew faced off against the Red Hot FC of Cincinnati. It was a beautiful evening with 20,623 reported fans in attendance, and as the wind died down, the temp remained slightly below 70 degrees at kick.
Nice.
Columbus once again showed statistical dominion over every single category.
Yeah.
Possession with the 68 to 32% advantage. Total shots, shots on target, shots off target, shots inside the box, back shots
Is
outside
shots
the
off
box.
target one you want to win?
Well,
Still a
they
shot.
want it. They want it. All right, so
Man.
shots inside the box, back shots outside the box, big chances, accurate passes, total passes of 639 to FC Cinci's 297. We had 16 throw-ins, which is ridiculous, 37 touches in their box, and Columbus won the battle for all 5 XG categories. I just wish they would have won the real G. Columbus say...
That's good.
Computers say this one should have ended closer to 3-1, but unfortunately, we are still not ruled by Skynet, and this one ended drawn at 1.
We're working on it. I'm trying to find back shots on here. I'm not seeing it. Anyways. Also, so we had 6 big chances. That is way too many chances. Way too many big chances.
All right, since we have no Haas, starting for the Crew in the familiar 3-4-2-1 with Schulte in goal, Marrera, Zawadzki, and Amundsen in the back. Across the middle, you had Farsi on the right, Arfston on the left, Shambo and Nagby in the middle, and the front 3 consisted of Gasdog and Rossi with Aliou up top.
Don't tell Moreira he's in the back.
6th minute, Cinci goal. Oriano receives the ball off a deflection, taps it around Arfston onto Santos, who plays the 1-2 right back to Oriano. He drives it through the Columbus half, leaving Amundsen wrong-footed as he streaks past him into the Crew half. Amundsen catches back up at the Crew's box. Oriano shimmies and creates space before cutting it back onto his left foot. He places a weak cross into the 6-yard area. Santos flicks it up. Schulte, seeing an opportunity, comes off his line, but is unable to punch it further than just outside of the 6, which is really about 2 feet. Where Evander is waiting, he attempts the acrobatic bicycle kick, which only makes it back to the back post where Dinky
Pronunciations brought to you by the idiots of Upper 90 Club.
is waiting, and he mishits it into the ground past Marrera. 1-0 Cincinnati.
Boo.
Oh, Dinky.
Yeah.
Denke.
All right.
Little Daffy.
When you said Dinky, I was like,
Dinky.
Not good enough.
So
assisted by
20th
Bart Harley Jarvis.
Right. 20th minute. Pavel Buka earns a yellow card for taking out Diego Rossi. 21st minute. Schulte. Okay. Buka, absolute rocket. And Schulte gets a big paw on it, knocks it up over for the Cincy corner.
Good job.
Many, many more chances back and forth the entire half. This game goes into halftime with Cincinnati up 1-0. 46th minute, Cincinnati comes out of half with the sub as Kubo comes in for Nwobodo. And 54th minute, Columbus goal. In the build-up, Amundsen receives the ball in the middle of the field from Zawadzki.
Should you
plays
talk like Haas?
I can't read and talk like Haas at the same time. That's the problem.
All right.
Malty plays the long ball out left to Arfson. Max gains control in the corner, brings it back inside, creating space for the inside pass to Rossi inside the 18-yard box of Cincinnati. Rossi with the flick, attempting to go around Hagelin, but the ball hits him directly in the right arm and is immediately called a PK for Columbus.
Can't
Rossi
do that.
Steps
Can't
up,
use your hand.
calmly places it in, except for if you're a goalie. Rossi steps up and calmly places it into the Cincinnati net as Celentano is moving the other way. 1-1 tie game.
Doesn't Rossi usually go right?
They mixes it up, but the interesting part here was that Rossi took the penalty. When you have
Why is that
MLS
surprising?
best, if you have maybe the best penalty taker in MLS that hasn't scored a goal yet for Columbus Crew.
Most successful penalty taker. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh,
he's
and he
also
hasn't
like
We're
scored
referring to
gas dog. Yeah, but I mean, he's chasing Golden Boot. That makes it 7. So I think he's only, like 2 goals behind the next person. So
All right, 59th minute, Columbus with the sub as Russell Rowe comes into the game for Aliu. 62nd minute, Cinci with the sub as Anuga comes in for Santos.
Nuga.
All right, 79th minute, Columbus reject Kai Kamara
Why are we
comes
so
in
broken?
for the Cincy goal scorer Din Kay.
Kai
And
Kamara.
U.S. men's national team reject DeAndre Yedlin in for Oriano. 84th minute, Cincinnati subs in teenage Hadib for Matthew Miazga.
Ding.
I was just surprised the guy's name is Teenage.
also that
But-
was right when Miazga should have been knocked. Someone should have knocked him out for running his mouth.
I was thoroughly enjoying him running his mouth to Rossi and the ref because Rossi was yapping at the ref like he does, like a parrot.
Yeah,
And
actually true.
Miazga was making fun of him.
I think at that point I said I'll be happily taking a red card if someone would just run over and just get him in the
Same.
knee.
Yeah, considering what Mark just said about Miazga, it's better to have a teenager coming in. But with the tie, Columbus moves to 7 wins, 1 loss, and 6 ties. Columbus will next face Charlotte on Saturday, May 24th, away at Bank of America Stadium, with the kickoff at 7:30 p.m.
Man,
All right, Haas, you want to talk about those tables? Tables! All right, with the tables, we've got Philadelphia sitting up top at 29 points. Cincinnati drops to second on goal differential, but they remain on 29 points as well.
Same record, right?
Yeah, 14-9-3.
okay.
Try that again. 9-3
9-3-2.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can read a table, you know. So Philadelphia is in first place with 29 points with a record of 9-3-2. Cincinnati also on 29 points with a record of 9-3-2. The only difference would be goal difference. And Columbus is in third place at 7-1-6 on 27 points. And then below that, you've got Nashville in fourth, Orlando in fifth, Miami in sixth. And they just lost to Orlando, which is awesome.
Awesome.
New York City behind that, and then Charlotte is in 8th, and Chicago's in 9th. In the Supporter Shield standings, we currently have Philadelphia in first, Cincinnati in second, Vancouver in third, and Columbus in fourth. So 29, 29, 28, and 27.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the Galaxy
college
is
reunion.
in the USL now.
Oh, yeah, we're not even going to go that deep on tables.
So deep.
Okay. And then do we have a circ stat?
This is Steve Cirque, and this is a Cirque stat.
All right, Cirque says, I have always known DeVille to possess gentle wit and admirable acumen. But now that it's declared to be so in a Kirkus review, my opinion of him and his writing is officially validated. This is in response to Chris DeVille, who we've had on this show, releasing his, I think it's his first book. Is it his first actual
we
book?
talked to him about it the last time he was on, and I'm going to text him while you're
I
talking. Go
did.
ahead.
I did.
You texted him?
2 days ago. Yeah. Well, I hit him up on Blue Sky. I was like, hey, man, So he just created a book. It's all about kind of the history of indie rock called Such Great Heights. He's going to do a sting for it and record a thing. And he's choosing his favorite compression song for the background.
Oh,
but
good.
I'm actually excited about this book. So you can pre-order it now on a bunch of different places, including Amazon and Target. So it's going to be easy to find. It won't be out until August at some point, and it's hardback only.
Oh, okay.
I'm a paperback boy, but I still ordered it. Support the bro, but I think it's going to be sweet.
Paperback reader. Go ahead.
That's what it is. That's what I am.
That's the Beatles.
Oh, that's pitchy. Ooh, that's what it is. That's what it is.
I mean, he has a better MLS one. I mean,
We need to get him on here. Next time you text him, make sure you let me know. Okay. You know.
No, he's my friend.
That's
my
all, bro.
friend.
Okay.
We'll get DeVille on here. We used to do the shootout. We haven't done one this season, but I think we've done one in all past seasons. So
Yeah.
crew trivia. That's great. Congratulations, Chris. And
I'm
thank
pumped.
you, Steve Sirk. Let's take a break. When we get back, we will do our thoughts and players. We'll be right back.
Hello, Adam Hernandez here, fellow crew fan and Columbus-based artist, muralist, and designer. When I'm not making art, I'm looking at art. And when I'm looking at art, I want it to come to life. That's why I made my new augmented reality prints. What's an augmented reality print, you may ask? Well, I make my really cool psychedelic art come to life in the palm of your hand. Check out my website, ahernandezart.com, or at ahernandezart to learn more. They're really rad. ahernandezart.
All right, we're back. So, speaking of the history of indie rock, if you recall this indie, but anyway,
I don't know what constitutes indie.
Independent?
would you call White Stripes indie rock?
When they were
Originally,
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yes.
yeah.
Like, so Lauren used to go up. She used to drive from Cinci up to Detroit, and she used to like see those White Stripes all the time when they were not big time.
She's like friends with them, isn't she?
Yeah, in some, yeah. She and Reba used to like run with them, but anyway, our 10-year-old, they taught him Seven Nation Army on the violin.
Sweet.
You know, so she was playing it this morning. And Lauren's like, "We gotta get out the vinyl." She's like, "What?" And we're like, "The record. Go get the record out." So we put the record on. These kids listen to like 99.9% of their music coming out of like an iPad.
100%. Yeah.
And we got the hi-fi set up, and Lauren put this record on, and turned it up. The kids lost their minds. I think the 10-year-old,
awesome.
the 10-year-old pulled her neck from from headbanging.
Oh, awesome.
And we had a total White Stripes like rock out full volume party at 8:15 this morning.
Dude, at two different occasions this last week, I've been driving my kids separately in the car, and each time I introduced them to Chop Suey for the first time.
Oh yeah,
just to see their reaction to them, like, what is this? And they're like, wake up! Like, what? It's so great. I'm driving. I just look at their faces, and they're like, what?
Mm-hmm.
What is this?
Oh man, I pushed baby metal on them pretty hard. They also love Green Day. They're like, play the Dookie Band. I'm like,
oh yeah, the Dookie Band. Yeah.
I love that, but I put on Knock Loose yesterday.
You can play
and it
Dookie.
Didn't work.
It's fun.
Didn't work. No, there's a
masturbation. Love lost. It's fun.
I distinctly remember when I asked my mom what masturbation was because I had the Dookie record. I remember exactly where I was, and she's like, "Where did you hear that?" I'm like, "Not from the record you bought me from Virgin Records, or Camelot Music."
Yeah.
So that's the day I lost that record.
So you were thinking and playing. I think it's time for thoughts and players.
Thoughts and players.
All right, let's just start with the positives.
Okay, you don't have to say it like that. All right, we'll start with Arvston.
Okay. Yeah. Good hair.
Great. Man, I told the Cincinnati guy specifically, I'm like, You won't see him pop off until you see his first step over. Once you see his first step over, he will absolutely ruin your entire back line. I'm not kidding. What was it? It was second half. He did his first step over.
Yep.
Like 70, I think 71 is when I texted the guy. I was like, there's the first step over, prepare. And I'm not kidding. The rest of that game, every time he got the ball, he was awesome. Like
the Columbus Crew had the ball for the entire last 25.
Between his 70th and
that was a crazy
I would say the
stretch,
80th
man.
minute, 65th and 80th minute, something like that. It was like total domination. The stadium went all in it, and it was almost feeling like we definitely was going to get it. It was a
battering ram on the door.
Yeah.
It was not. I can't believe they didn't score.
Yeah,
I can't believe
I
they
still
didn't
can't.
score.
Yeah, but and that goes to the fact that everybody played well when it comes to the play on the field. I think everybody. I see Farsi didn't get a high rating. Farsi was great. He was getting up and down the field. Morvera was up and down the field again.
Oh, he spent so much time up, and it was great.
Yeah,
he and Farsi had so much great connection.
They do great when they overload that right side.
Yeah,
it never fails, and I wish we would do it more. We did it this game. The final product, we'll talk about that here in a second.
Again, Savatsky, such a strong player back there. I mean, he's just dominating. I mean, the level he's playing is freaking me out a little bit because I think he's going to be hard to. Yeah, he decided to just take it all the way, and
that was awesome.
No, he had one.
He crossed it. He crossed it.
He crossed it. I said, "Oh, look at him! He's doing it. Look at this. This is so great."
Thought it was
and then
it.
he had that, and then the cross went behind the goal.
Yeah,
I was
it
like,
did.
"Oh, everything up until that."
I thought for sure. I was like,
great.
once he got into that their midfield and then beat them down to the right. I was like, he's going to put this away, and I'm going to set everyone on fire. Yeah. I was like screaming, and then he kicked it out, and I was like, oh no, that feels about right for what we're doing.
Great game there again. The middle, I feel like that Chambeau and Nagbe connection right now. I have a hard time imagining there's a better duo in the midfield right now in MLS.
Nope. I would even put them up against like Aiden and Nagbe at their peak. The only thing I miss is that big cross-field ball. That being said, he did it, I know, at least once this game, and it wasn't really on. I know especially at the end of the game, I know he tried it once. Yedlin was sitting on Arston for the big cross.
Yeah.
So it wasn't there, but I know that when teams try to pinch us into a certain area, that big crossfield ball needs to be hit a little bit more. But, man, Chambeau is...
He's playing really well.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Rossi, again, good game. How many times did Rossi get fouled, and how much time did it take until they got a yellow card?
The reffing we were very upset. The Romanian guy was extremely upset.
The nameless.
He's going to make it into a sausage?
Sidebar.
Romain Gall?
When I was talking to him, I asked him his name, and he looked at me like, I'm not giving you my name. And I was just like, and then later Justin told him I was on a podcast, and he was like, oh, yeah, sorry, earlier my name is this. I was like, yeah, cool. I wasn't.
You're just a Romanian guy. No, sorry, it's too late.
Oh, man, that guy's so cool. He's an enigma. But yeah, so Arston played great. Zawa played great. Again, the last 30 minutes, I think we talked about it prior to this pod, but I would argue that last 30 was almost better than our best last year with Cucho. It was just that finishing product that we were missing. The other person we had,
they kept the ball the whole time. They had a couple. I think I texted you guys at some point. We had a couple really dumb wasted opportunities. One from Russell Rowe I can think of, one from Gastog I can think of. And then they had a couple good saves. Chambos blasted that one on the ground. That one got stopped.
Yeah.
Russell Rowe had that great header, diving save.
That header is insane.
Great job.
And he was actually a player of the game too.
Their goalie, yeah.
I give it up to him. He had a great game.
I think he was credited 5 saves.
Yeah,
but I mean, watching that last half hour, God, I can't believe they didn't score, and that's a problem. Like, and it's a big problem. You can't say that they did a great job in that last half hour because it just wasn't the result. As Trey said earlier, real G.
Yeah,
right.
I will say that,
but the gameplay up into the goal line between the posts was outstanding. They kept possession and they looked great. They just couldn't finish.
Here's my issue, and I got a lot of problems with you people.
Last 4 games, people
68. So the last 4 games: San Jose, Charlotte, Montreal, Cincinnati. 68% possession, 58%, 70%, 68%.
Oof.
Yeah.
That feels like
I think
Berhalter ball, where it's like, oh, we won in possession. I feel like we should have won. It's like
it's different though.
It is different.
If you go back to FOTMob, highest rating of every team in the league. We have the highest possession. We knew that. That's nothing new. We have the highest accurate passes per match. We have the second highest number of big chances missed.
Yeah.
We have the highest number of touches in the opposition in the opposition's box.
No square.
In no square. But we are 11th in the goals per match.
Right.
Sure.
Again, that just proves again and again and again the same thing. We don't have a finisher right now.
And
go ahead.
Another part of that was, I think 2 years ago I think Quentin was still on the team. We heard
this time of year 2 years ago, Quentin was on the team. Yes.
And I think we heard, it was Nancy's first season. Yeah. And I believe we heard him say something along the lines of, we're not trying to cross the ball. In other words, like, we're not trying to play that ball out wide to cross the ball in. And we constantly saw them working the ball into the interior, beating a player or two and scoring goals.
Sure.
That's not what we're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
We're playing that ball out wide, and we're playing these looping crosses to the back post, to nobody, to a Cincinnati head.
I have a real problem with just for everyone listening, as you watch these games, watch when we get the ball out wide, just like Trey's saying with specifically Farsi. He'll get the ball. He'll be pretty far up. There is like one person per 4 other people in the back. And our like Gas Dog and Rossi are usually like behind the play. Like we have nobody to receive a cross or anything. We're not, like nobody's trying to run in behind.
I felt like that was in. I don't know. Maybe that cuts both ways, because I felt like we looked really well prepared on the defense, more than usual.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were pushing up. We had a lot. I mean, there were times where you'd see 10 players pass midfield. Maybe Zawadzki was hanging back
barely,
but like there were times in that last half hour, like 2 or 3 times that Cincinnati had the ball. We had like 7 guys back in the 18-yard box, and they looked completely suffocated. And I was like, oh, okay. Like I'm surprised to see the lopsidedness of how well protected we are, because usually we're just so far up that we're kind of one-on-one. Maybe there's an extra body in there, but like we were super well prepared on the defensive side. But to your point, on the offensive side, there's no help.
Something's broken.
Well, except for this, you know what, this game I saw, and I think we talked about it earlier, that LEU had a good game.
We talked about it.
He came in, he started.
Yes.
Yep.
And I think at least 3 times I can think of that he was driving the ball and cut it back into the box where there should have been players
he had
running
one
on.
that was like
in the first half, when 45 degrees and nobody was there.
And nobody was there.
Dude.
So that, I mean, I thought, in just putting it in perspective, that I thought he played really well doing that role and making that pass, which is the pass that needs to be made to an on-running player behind him.
And he is he's just joining the team too.
Yeah.
Correct. But my other thought on that is, not on that, pardon me. My other thought is, I think we're seeing teams do what works against the Nazi system. They bunker. They're putting 10 people behind the ball. Like, it's no joke that we're pushed all the way forward, because they know we are vulnerable to the counter more than anything else. We're vulnerable.
Yes.
And that's what we're seeing.
I agree somewhat with that, but also agree that nobody wants to be dominated the way that they have been.
Well, maybe
and having having the chances. One thing is like not even knocking on the door, just like having all the possession inside of their half. We have so many of them that like in this game alone, we had probably at least 3 winners, three shots that should have been winners.
Yeah. Yep.
Well,
and we got none.
I think the difference between last year and the year before and this year is goals.
Oh yeah.
We start scoring goals, people start respecting us more, and you'll see a different tactic, and the game will open up. But they're not having to. So they're bunkering behind.
Yeah, you just went through the stats, man.
Right. We have all the possession. We've got all the passes. We've got all the shots. We've got everything but the goals. And the goals are what is going to matter to really unlock other teams.
Cincinnati looked like 2021, 2022 Caleb Porter Columbus Crew, where like you've got the goal and you're just praying you can make it to 90.
You're sacrificing
and we
to the
should
sun
have
god.
won. Columbus should have won that game, and we just couldn't put it away. And it was like, the Caleb Porter, this is by design, the way that you squeak out another tie and then tie your way and out of the playoffs in 2022. But yeah, I don't know. We got to find a way to score. They looked great. We got to find a way to score.
I want to say one thing though before. Sorry to
it's fine.
Interrupt you. We were talking about before the season started, right? Based on the second we lost Cucho, how are we going to look this year? And I know we got Gastag, but it's still not the player we were expecting that we needed. We didn't say we needed a Gastag. We just said that we needed a pure number 9.
We're not wrong.
Yeah, and we're still correct, and I think we're going to talk about him a little bit. But I don't think anybody had us at this point at 3rd place in the East, 4th place overall, because we said we will hang up like it be in the picture there somewhere, and then we maybe strengthen in the summer, and then hopefully we can evolve through the fall.
We're like one game away from Supporter Shield. Like, yeah.
Yes, that's my point. Is that yes, we're gonna they're frustrating because they're playing so well.
Yeah.
We're basically one goal away from Supporter Shield this week, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's like we had 2 ties. Maybe not past Vancouver, but we are past Cincinnati with another goal.
No.
If we would have won
Montreal in this game, we would have been at the top of the table.
Yeah, a couple more goals this week, top of the table. And what was the result against Philly?
We tied
2-2.
We tied.
Yeah, we got lucky.
We tied Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And we tied Montreal.
That Philly away tie was a good tie. The 2 other ties were not good ties.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like I'm not angry at the team. They're playing really well. I'm just frustrated.
Just
watching.
the one loss in Cleveland, the banner game of the season.
I'm just
the one that had a
watching.
special color on the schedule is our only loss this season.
There's some good teams out there, though. Don't sleep on Orlando, and we're gonna.
Well, because as you said, Mort, a few weeks back, which is like, there's the rankings at the beginning of the season, and then there's where the chips fall, right? And like, you're playing teams that are expected to be good, and you're beating them, but there are other teams that maybe didn't start the season rated as high that finish well. See New York Red Bull last year. So
yeah, true.
Things are still kind of shaping up in how teams are performing this year. See also Vancouver. See also LA Galaxy. We'll have to see what these opponents bring to the table. But there's more to talk about from this week, so let's read the internet.
All right, Lexus Tron from Reddit. I'm going to paraphrase some of this or just not read all of it because it's a lot of back and forth. So he says, Philly fleeced us on the Gazdag trade. Then our idiot FO rewarded him with a contract extension. I saw more tonight from Aliu than Gazdag during their time with the Crew. That got negative 14 jibble jabs, but 2BS2RS says, I think Gaz has actually been showing a lot so far in helping us break the press in the defensive third, advancing the ball from the mid into the attacking third, and doing pretty well in counter press and back press moments. Again, the back stuff, whatever. And then that was responded by Fishbert, great name.
Oh yeah, Fishbert. What did they have to say?
Oh man, Fishbert. He says something I thought was kind of interesting. He says, I see a lot of parallels and criticism of Gas Dog this season and criticism of Rossi last season. People just don't seem to recognize what players are contributing if they aren't also scoring goals.
I think they're talking about the 23 season, but
when he first came in and we did the same thing.
And one big thing about that was that we got that flash. We had the flashy player that made the special play, was in the highlight reels, and he was making the free kicks and all that. And you got Rossi, which is more like a workhorse that it helped the team overall to improve. Right?
It's a small horse.
Baby pony.
Yeah, it's a baby,
work
pony.
Shetland.
Can I pet that dog?
Work pony. But I would say this with,
right.
and I said this last week too, and I said, had Gastag gotten a goal or two, nobody would be complaining because he's playing fine. The problem is that he's a DP. And playing fine is like he's a good addition to the team. Is not he's supposed to come in and be a difference maker.
The expectations for Aliu are at the very
some might say minimum wage.
And I don't want to see this. I would add this: the fact that he played a good game. He's lightning fast. He's pretty good at holding the ball up.
He provides something different.
He provides something different. But when I see him like to play and he's kind of rough around the edge in some of the things he does. He's not a polished guy. So let's not compare. I don't want to compare Gastag and Aliu. I think he played a good game. I wouldn't say that he should start over Gastag. I don't agree with that whatsoever.
Well, no, but he should.
Gastag had a good game. If he had scored in this game,
I want to see
he would be a great
that one
game.
opportunity he had. That one opportunity he had.
He got stuck on him under this.
Lauren didn't see it, but I said it would be like if Will Hesmer got the ball and didn't score his one goal.
But what an opportunity that would have been. That's the most frustrating part is what an opportunity it would have been if he scored the winning goal in Hell is Real, and he would be automatically it would just like.
And if the blind man wasn't blind, he could see.
Oh,
woulda, shoulda, coulda, but what happens?
Yeah.
If Kilby Block Party didn't have Deer Hunter in it, would Haas
All right,
even
so-
go? 'Cause
bend
he
my
loves
arm
it.
at
Okay,
this far.
So bench him and start Ibrahim over him. Cool.
No,
No. But Ibrahim starts over JRR and he starts over AZ.
I was super shocked to see
100%.
But
we looked so much more dangerous in this game than we have in the previous
Chaos Agent,
three.
baby. He's doing something different. So the whole discord about Gas Dog is an interesting one because, again, we got a great player. This is me talking. Hello, I'm Ben. I still think he and Shambo are like a lot the same player as far as like an advancing 8 or somebody to unlock some other people. And we are playing him next to Rossi up top, and neither one of those guys is necessarily like that difference maker striker that gets in behind, takes people one-on-one. Like, they don't do that.
There was one thing that worried me a little bit about this game, and it was before the game. It was during the warm-up, and I sat there and was thinking about it. Because in warm-up, the guys, a lot of them talking, like Farsi goes over to Marrera, they have like a powwow, they're talking, everybody like, grabs somebody, had a little conversation, or they joking with each other a little bit. He looked like he was on an island and warm up.
Talking about Gas Dog?
Gas Dog.
No one pet that dog?
So nobody want to pet that dog. Yeah.
Dang, dog.
So I wonder, for a second there, it like in the warm up, there might just be me, but after I said like, he's kind of there and everybody's doing their own thing and he's doing his own thing. It's like, how is he in the locker room?
You know what? That's interesting.
I've heard great things about him, like from Philly. So, but maybe he still has a hard time settling in.
Sure. But it does seem like, and we touched on it briefly, and we don't know this. We don't know anything. We're dumb. But
think about our front three. They're best friends.
The chemistry, something I feel like is broken, especially with the up top. We saw the videos last year of Chiba and Amundsen joking around, and Marrera we know is an absolute character. Last year we had the front three. They were doing the poses, the fun stuff, and now we're seeing them score, and no one's really given.
Last year, I just want to add on to that, and I'll pass it right back to you. because I texted you guys in the last 10 days, I think. Last year we crashed out of the playoffs at the first round. I rewatched because I have a mind virus. Like I rewatched the Eastern Conference Finals against Cincinnati, where Molino had that pass across the box in extra time to Cucho, who didn't shoot it from point blank range, headed it back across to Ramirez to score the third and game winning goal in the 100-something minute, where we went on to win the conference and then play the MLS Cup final. The first thought I had was hearing Nancy say, this is the best version of this team that we have. And it's like, I just go rewatch that goal and that play.
You sure about
and
that?
It's like, play? And tell me that this is the best team. And I just want to bring it back and say that, like, you're not seeing anything 30% of what that team looked like on that day. So
no, I know where he's coming from. Because we've seen it. We just talked about it today, like about the game yesterday, was the fact that there was like 20 minutes where the reason Cincinnati had so many throw-ins, we had so many throw-ins, was like Cincinnati was desperately just kicking the ball away because they were playing panic ball because they've been run over. And this is one of the best teams in the league. And they had like nothing to do else but just clearing the ball long and far out of there. And I think the team overall, everybody understands what they need to do.
Yeah.
I think we just like a little bit of chemistry and a little bit of a difference maker. I think overall the team is stronger.
Some swagger.
I think
the
swagger,
core of the
man.
team is almost better than it have ever been. I feel more confident than not losing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is not great because you're like...
I think you're right. I think Nancy has done his job. He's drilled them and got them playing how he wants. But the thing he can't control, which is like just natural chemistry once the whistle blows and the game's out there. We had that last year in spades.
Oh yeah, remember that jersey that disappeared after Cucho scored?
Woohoo! He took a jersey from a child and put it on or something like that. No one knows what happened.
Swagger.
But I think you're right. Maybe they should go do one of those training sessions. They need to go to like duck pin bowling.
That's
what I'm saying. Like do one of those like
get a
company
taco
outings.
truck and put this thing to bed, man.
Get a number 9. Get a number 9.
It's
I think
not a 9, but like somebody who's different. And I do think. I mean, it was refreshing to see Aliou come in and provide something different in the front three. We were hoping that would be JRR. It is not. We were hoping it was AZ because he is also kind of quick. He is not playing like that. But as rough as we say, Aliou might have been. I was impressed. I'd like to see more, and I would also like to see Taha, but that's a whole other story.
Okay, so speaking of seeing more, I want to talk about some of the.
Oh
antics.
Boy, let's have some fun. Let's have some fun because you know who had fun? People before the game, and fun is a bit of an asterisk.
First of all, let's start to the very start. Because you're like we're ready to get pumped up, right, for this game. Like
Trey, you did not see this on the broadcast, right?
No,
or any of this stuff. Okay,
no, they literally they cut back to the game directly at kick. Like it was like Portland, Seattle, back to Columbus, kick.
So before the whole regular routine that we're going through before the game, Weissman and all that. Suddenly a bunch of people in like black robes come running off the field and they get onto a little stage, on one of the sidelines.
Which sounds tight.
Yeah, like what is this?
The Undertaker, Paul Bearer come in.
Yeah, and then they open the capes and it's the whole choir and they go,
oh, there's a choir.
And then they go and they start what did it start? A Highway to Hell. An a cappella version of Highway to Hell. And like you can't do that without some guitar. It just doesn't do it. They did a good job. I'm not saying it was bad.
We're not doing it justice. All right, so we're on Read the Internet. Let's go ahead.
And none of this is on the performers. We're not judging the performers and their ability to perform what they were asked to do. We're judging the front office on what they thought was a good idea.
Yeah, speaking
and somebody else with another podcast had something to say about that.
Yeah, so on Blue Sky at Morgan Hughes at bukask.social says, someone in the front office who recently graduated from homeschooling and was just allowed to watch Pitch Perfect for the first time was like, you guys, what about a saucy highway to hell? And everyone who makes important decisions for the crew works in Cleveland, so it was approved. This is the type of thing that we've seen where it's just like, I like that they're like, let's do something special or different, and they do something, and you're like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Like,
I was like trying really hard to like it. I was like,
who is this for? Like, who was it for?
The front office. That's who it's for.
Yeah, who doesn't realize they actually own a soccer team and had just graduated from homeschooling. Brilliant.
The numbers looked sweet on the jerseys.
Those were
Oh
nice.
yeah,
great.
So we talked about that last week, but like that was cool. So
yeah, they had Aiden Morris come out, cool, Archie Griffin. But let's get into halftime. So halftime happens. You know, you're kind of bummed. You're down 1-0, but you feel like it's pretty good. So what did they do to hype us up, Mort? You were closest.
Well, I saw them passing, and I heard them announce this, and I was like, did I hear that right? It was like, we're bringing out, what do you call it? America's first female first female speed painter. So
so fast, your head's gonna spin.
What was her name?
All right.
I can't remember what her name was, but
Something Hawes.
Ben, you can tell them what she
Jessica
did.
So okay. So they did something great, you know, and I did get to I hung out with Adam Hernandez, who's a local artist. He's on the Stings, whatever. He did the MLS All-Star art. He does all that. Yeah, he's
Hernandez
and a couple of tifos.
Oh, he's the best.
Well. He's
so
awesome.
I saw him and I was like, hey man, sweet that they got Miss Birdie. He's like, yeah, they do a cool thing where they're like grabbing different local artists. I was like, why didn't you do this? I mean, Miss Birdie stuff's tight and she killed it, but he's like, yeah, they reach out to different people. It's awesome. I'm like, great. So it's totally fitting that the front office like does something awesome. And then at halftime, I was like, what are they doing? This girl comes out. She looks like a social influencer from like, you know, and then she just starts like furiously painting and does this like speed painting and like flips it over. And usually your people are like, yeah, she did something upside down. Woo! But really everyone's just like, what is just happening?
So she did some kind of speed paint and she did it upside down.
Yeah, they always do that. That's the
Why
whole
did
thing.
they do it upside down?
Because then you can see what they're making until it's done.
Yeah, it's like
it's like an optical thing.
A magic
parlor
eye.
trick.
I don't know. It's not
parlor trick.
Yeah.
So
she does something and it looks like, you know, fire or whatever, and she flips it over and like the guy's or the person's beard was the crew helmet or something. I'm like, it's just, what is it? Like, can we get someone can someone from the Nordica like put in Chris Lamacchia, put in Courtney, and just have them vet some of these ideas? Because it is absolutely like,
well, I mean, we have somebody that is a liaison in between.
Okay.
So you would think that person would step up and say, you know what, you made a really good decision with Miss Birdie as a local artist to do the numbers. How about we not do this at halftime?
Yeah,
we mentioned we had a couple ties this week, but what I will say is that when you said Chris Lamacchia, that I thought you were saying that they should have painted Chris Lamacchia.
I would have lost my mind if they just got
they flipped it over and like first I thought it was I thought it was Ginger from Gilligan's Island, but you flipped Ginger over and it's just Chris Lamacchia. It's like, I'm not going to Cleveland.
It's not Ginger, it's a Ginger.
There's the speech bubble. It was the little boat from Gilligan's Island, but now it says I'm not going to Cleveland. Okay.
What a poor choice of
It was strange.
Entertainment?
Is
that a word?
You can honor
that the
people.
word?
You can do all kinds of cool things. You can,
And we didn't mention the TIFO, but I do want to give it a shout out. It said, what was it, 7 years of dominance?
Oh, it was so
So
good.
from what I understand, and I
was texting it to strangers. I was just asking strangers for their phone numbers.
The problem
hello, stranger. Can I have your phone number?
It was a little windy.
Look at this thing called a TIFO.
It was a windy day, so it was a little hard to see.
Yeah, I tried to get a good photo, and I wasn't able to repost it. But I do want to say that something you don't know that also Morgan had tweeted out who cares? He said that there was old players on it, like Zeller Ryan was on it. It says 7 years of dominance, and it had a bunch of ex-players that have beaten Cincinnati or whatever.
It was like their celebration poses, right?
Like Nagby was on there, but the rest were old players, and I guess the front office had pushback on if it even should be put up or something like that, based on the fact that it was a lot of ex-players and not a lot of current players.
Hey, I got an idea.
Tone deaf.
Why don't you take those TIFOs and put them somewhere where we can buy them, like Prince or something like that? That's a great idea. I've never mentioned it here before.
TIFOs
15
in my
times.
house or to wear as a.
I mean, no. If I could get the older TIFOs, I'd put them up in the basement and put them.
I think
in
Supporter Supply has done some of them, I believe.
Yeah, like T-shirts,
shirts.
whatever. But you need to be able to get them. But we said
What
coffee
about,
table book or whatever.
Or what about
Yes.
glass plates? You
I
could
would-
hang them around your kitchen.
I want them for the windows, so the light can shine through them.
Stained glass.
Stained glass.
I would 10,000% buy Miss Birdie's art as stained glass, and I don't think it would cost that much. It'd be like $100,000.
Yeah.
Well, and not only that, but so
I want to do that now.
I saw where she had spent 5 days creating that artwork.
Do you see the video of it? It was so cool.
Yes,
Everything
amazing.
about that is so
She
tight.
did such a great job with it. And not only that, but 5 days. You had other artists commenting, I can't believe you made this in 5 days. You rock 24-hour sessions. That's awesome. That's an artist doing phenomenal work.
I feel like she was born with that
Can't
talent,
you do
then.
it? Can't you do it in 60 seconds or 3
Yeah.
minutes or whatever?
That's the problem, is that you go from this wonderful artwork that you're putting out on jerseys and
then turn around at halftime and be like, but can you do
Right.
it super quick? So stupid.
It's like hiring Jerry Seinfeld to do an intro for the game and then bring on Gilbert Gottfried at halftime.
God,
what are you doing?
Careful there. Another legend. Another legend. You mean
Gallagher.
Greg? You mean Greg Gutfeld?
You mean Greg Louganis?
Gallagher's out there smashing.
melon.
Yes, exactly. That's a gimmick. It's all a gimmick.
It took God at least 6 days.
Yeah.
It's taking you so long.
Fiscal days. The fact that it was leading up was all this awesome art stuff, and it's but what about a speed painter?
But other than that, I mean, they did plenty. For the intro, bringing in Aiden and all the other stuff was enough
And
to
Archie.
really get the Archie. The crowd was rowdy.
Yeah.
It was fun, and Nordic was full at least half an hour before kickoff, and just
Well, and at
45
one
minutes
point,
before.
I had texted the thread, but you could hear and the broadcast, the announcers actually picked up on it when Kai came in.
Columbus
They
Reject.
were chanting Columbus Reject, and the announcers on Fox actually made a comment about it and were kind of laughing along with it.
Yeah, Columbus Reject, kind of, also 10 other team Reject.
But we say that it's
he's an
funny.
old-timer,
It's
man. Kai Kamara,
It wasn't it's not
he
a
played. Didn't he score? And he was the lone goal scorer
in
our
2015.
game that some claim never happened. I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm exhausted. We got a break here. When we come back, we're gonna do Crew 2. We're gonna do the rundown. We'll do our predictions. We'll be right back.
This episode of the Upper 90 Club is brought to you, as always, by Supporter Supply Company. Hi, friends. This is your good pal, Morgan Hughes, here to talk to you about a serious issue facing 96% of all crew supporters in Columbus. Why, not enough free shipping, of course. For a limited time now, through the eventual heat death of the universe, Upper 90 Club listeners can use the promo code Upper 90 Boys. That's boys with a Z on the end of it at checkout for free delivery on absolutely any order over $10. But Morgan, what if I order $10 worth of stickers, or those goddamned buttons, or some other combination of small items that make you want to kill yourself? Will the free shipping still apply then, even as you curse our family, while you package up our little tiny annoying ass order for us? Of course it will. That's just how much we here at Supporter Supply value our friends at the Upper 90 Club. So head on over to supportersupply.co and use the promo code Upper90Boys, that's boys with a Z, at checkout for free shipping on all your orders over $10. And don't forget to tell them that your friends at the Upper 90 Club sent ya.
Okay, good news, everyone. The Cappies won the Heck is Plausible Derby, the game that we play, or they play rather, I'm not doing anything, against FC Cincinnati 2. The game was hosted by us at Historic Cruise Stadium, and the goal was scored by Taha Brun with an assist from Cole Maroka. So 2 names that you should recognize from the first team. And yes, it was a good lineup for us. We had other first team names like Stas Lapkes and Cesar Ruvalcaba and Tristan Brown, all of which either have first team contracts or have seen playing time with the first team. So it was a good lineup and a game that I was really hoping that would win, because both teams are battling for the wooden spoon, and we were last in the East and they were right above us, and so that makes us move a position, which is good. And I saw a team that finally got some play together in the midfield, won a lot of the second balls, and was able to score, and most importantly, to maintain that clean score sheet without making errors. But without the errors, wasn't really the big salient point for me. It was Stas Lapke's performance. He was man of the match. He got to wear the hard hat afterwards in the locker room, and I think it was well deserved, because if you go back and watch the highlights, recommend to do so. He had some great saves. It's good to see him coming back to form and making the things that we know that he can do. So yeah, really good game for us. Really happy with this win. Kind of a palate cleanser after the kind of, well, I won't say kind of, the disappointing by the first team. So really happy to report this. And yeah, if you're not following the crew too, tune into the games. If you have MLS Pass, you'll be able to watch it. If not, you can go to the games. It's a great time for the family. $10 to get in, and a really, really nice atmosphere. Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
We're back. Thanks, Bird.
Kaka. He did send one. I just actually, you know what? Let me see if he hit me back.
Yeah.
Well, he sent me.
Plausibility is real.
Yeah. He sent it from Germany. I asked him how Germany is, and he didn't respond. What time is it in Germany over there?
It's
Germany,
time to.
it is 5:22 in the morning.
He sent it to me an hour ago, so he sent it to me at 4 in the man. Bird's a
sure he's not back? He's probably back.
I have been hearing the birds very early here.
Bird.
I don't know what time the sun rises there in Columbus, but
man, we got ducks in my yard.
Sun's out at like 5:20 in the morning.
You sound like a grumpy old man.
I got ducks in my yard.
I gotta feed the ducks. Yeah, I have had to run out of my house at least 5 times trying to like distract the cat from attacking the ducks.
You gotta let the cat attack the ducks.
No, I can't. The kids love the ducks. What am I gonna do?
Kill one in front of
cat.
Carnage.
Complain about the ducks. Complain about the cat
duck?
and the ducks.
We got two male ducks and a female duck.
They have
How
to
do you know
learn
which
about the
ones?
circle of life.
Duck
It's
bang.
very important. Like with guinea pigs.
Dynasty. It sounds like a dynasty out there.
I'm trying to buy some hamsters and I keep getting shot down.
Oh, hamsters are bad.
You should be.
I've heard something
You should
weird
be.
about the circle of life in ducks. The circle of their.
Albuquerque.
penis.
No, they're we have mallards, so it's clear as day because the males are green head and females are brown.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guys look sexier. That's just how it is.
Are we
With
still?
the little, I don't know, the
are we
females.
still
They get the
talking
little
about the
blue
Columbus
tip on
crew?
the wings.
We're still talking about the Columbus crew. Heck is plausible. Thanks, Bird.
Hey, we won. Yeah, and that was Pippa,
just
baby.
talking about birds.
Pippa's undefeated against Cincinnati, even when he played. No big deal.
I will tell you, with the starting lineup that pulled, I was pretty sure they were going to win that one.
Yeah, well, they had Ruvalcaba, and you could tell because right at, I think it was 60 minutes, they pulled him or whatever, and it's like, yeah, I'm sure there was a thing like, you can play my dudes, but like take them out. But Taha scored. Did you? I ended up watching the game. I still think that guy pulling the strings behind 2 strikers would be interesting. He's good, man.
I'm hopeful, but I don't have your optimism.
The problem that
Give him
we
a
have
shot.
is the lack of the strikers, and we're not going to
Taha
get back into
scored.
that. We don't have a lack of puppet masters. We have a lack of puppets. This is the number.
But I hope it will be another thing where, like,
nines that we're
because
missing.
we have good people in position, so they go somewhere else. Berhalter, right? So
Okay. All right. So crew 2 pulled it out. So all teams scored 1 goal except for crew 2 or Cincinnati
2.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Can we get into? Yeah. Can we get into the rundown?
Yeah. It's a rundown. We're coming to town. It's a rundown. Okay. What we're gonna do is a rundown. Down. Rundown.
First order of business, we need to talk about how the Cincinnati Soccer Talk, they caved when we started talking about running. Is that right? This is what I've heard. I shut off that you guys were on Cincinnati Soccer Talk Jersey Swap podcast. Yep. I shut it off when I heard Mars is from Chicago.
Okay, yeah.
I took issue with that.
Yeah.
So
Who said that?
I missed. I don't know.
Idiot head.
But you guys talked about the Run Club on there?
We did actually traded.
Yeah.
The
one who doesn't run did.
Yeah. Proud of you. Yeah.
Well, we walk, hike,
here for
and
the
run.
sport.
We walk, hike, and run.
You know, that's right. Yeah. And he was like, oh, maybe that's something we can compete with. Maybe we'll start a run club. And I was like, yo, homie, we're like 100 plus members and like thousands of miles.
Now I think we need to taunt them.
Flex.
Oh, yeah.
Into competing.
We'll be top of the table, but we actually, when we say it, we'll actually be top of the table instead of.
It will be tip of the table.
Oh yeah. So what you're referencing is the fact that all the Cincy fans were saying top of the table, but in fact they were still behind Philadelphia.
Yeah. Billy had won, and they were like top of the table, and then they like go down and get their like soft pretzel before they leave, and they're like, oh crap, we're idiots. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So yeah, we don't need to talk any more about that. Cincinnati, they're not going to start a run club. They're not going to run more than us.
Definitely not.
We've got the best run club of all the MLS podcast run clubs.
Yep.
Okay. So, pat yourselves on the back. We are up to 105 members this week.
Let's go, squad.
This week, I want to send a special shout out to our president because I feel like last week, our president put up over 70 miles, and we spent the whole time talking about first-time contributor Troy.
Yeah.
It's like, could you imagine leading an organization and being in first sometimes, not being in first sometimes, putting up what I believe, if my memory serves, is the most miles ever recorded on, since the Run Club started. You put up 70-plus miles.
Yep.
And your subjects spend the whole time talking about the guy who just joined the club that week. Could you imagine that?
She was really offended not listening.
Yeah. Also, Troy
it's
put
a good
up
thing.
Like
It's a good thing.
Miles.
Good thing you'd be sleeping in the doghouse.
No, I usually play the Run Club portion for her every week.
But not this week.
I'll just
not this week.
Print it out and just leave it in her car. That's what you should
reads print the transcript. You mean
the transcript? Yep.
It's just it's a 2-1 bot saying it.
What you read is when you're driving to work tomorrow. That sounds like
eyes on the road.
Okay, so all right. So that said, I want to send a big shout out to our fearless leader.
Dude, she's a champ.
President Stacy. Does she have a 100-miler coming up this weekend?
She has in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And Mohican is coming up here. Pretty fast.
Okay.
Yep.
That's a rough course.
It is a rough one too.
She led us in spirit and in miles this week with 66.2 miles.
Right. And 30 of those were today.
Wow. 30 of them were today. And she also
3 more miles.
She's covering like
she needed 0.4 more.
Over 5,000 feet elevation.
That was real.
Yeah, I know what she did.
You're the leader. Sorry about last week. Troy's great, but he's just he's just a seasonal 170 billion mile runner. So.
He only runs when it's nice outside.
Smokes
cigarettes. Yeah. Love you, Troy. Okay. Also not a listener.
Not a listener. There's no way Troy listens. I don't even know if he knows how to listen.
It's like you spend 15 hours a week running and you couldn't listen to us.
Right.
Yeah,
you can't even listen to us. Anyway, okay. So this week we ran what was like 11, sorry.
70.
It's my other
1170.
How far did we make it?
1170 miles.
Where we go?
Where do we go? Since
I
you're
did-
from Chicago, how far did we make it?
We made it all the way to so I told you we were going to I'm going to try and find a way to get to another continent.
Yeah.
So
does Greenland count if it's part of the US?
Well, yeah, I mean it's a big leap.
Yeah, that's a big leap.
So this week I was actually thinking the best way for us to get to another continent would be to go west up through Alaska.
Oh, there you go.
Because the Bering Strait,
Papua New Guinea,
tiny,
is shorter. So last week we were in Wichita. We're back up in the Pacific Northwest. We're in Spokane, Washington. We're going to be moving up toward Alaska. Give us a couple
I got
weeks.
friends up there.
Wouldn't it be
Look at
faster?
that.
Wouldn't it be better to go to South America?
Brazil is pretty close if you want to go over that way.
And we'll do that later.
Yep.
We'll do that later. We'll come back around.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good. We'll come back around. Okay. So
It's
shout outs
warm
this
and-
week. The thing that we really wanted to mention was Grant. And let me pull up the posts so I get this right.
Yeah, and if you join Strava, we have people that constantly post all sorts of different stuff in that running.
Questions about running, nutrition, races.
Yeah,
all
the whole
kinds of cool
thing.
stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I've got questions.
Yeah,
because I feel like I'm just getting slower.
Yeah,
and
100%.
Also older.
Yes. Yeah. So Grant Downs this week, he is hosting a let's see, it's a 5K.
Yep.
It's in Magnolia, Ohio. It is the same day as the Vancouver game.
Ooh.
It's a fundraiser for hold on, I gotta pull up the whole post. Sorry.
And I think you're actually able, if you can't make it out and run, you still can donate. I might try to actually make that. I have to figure out what date that is.
It's like 10 in the morning or
Cross
something.
country style 5K on his family farm.
Oh, I love
The
that.
tree farm.
I love
Eastern
trees.
Ohio. Hill climbs that are rewarded with epic downhills. I'm just reading what he said.
That's a really nice way to say, hey, climb up the hill. It's easier coming down.
Yeah.
I have a harder time going down. To be honest.
Well, you know, at least you're not running to the top of a mountain or something. You know?
That's where the finish line is.
Yeah.
And then you
Yeah.
just take it
I've
down
been
on the
going
way down.
downhill for the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, me too.
We need to
Yeah.
talk about that.
It
It's on,
started about an hour
it's
and a
on
half
June
ago.
14th. It's the third annual event. It's called Tree Farm 5K on Facebook.
That's so cool.
We'll
Or you
tweet
can
it out or
register
whatever.
Directly.
That makes a
And
lot
hold on,
more
let me-
sense.
Let me
as
say
to
the link.
What,
Let me say the link.
What the
He's-
link is.
It
Okay.
is. God, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm getting old here. Givebutter.com /tree farm 5K. Give butter.
We got to tweet it or blue sky it or something.
I might entitle this episode "Give Butter."
100%. This is a legit, valid link. We are not tricking
I'm
you
sorry.
into anything.
The more you say that, people are gonna be like, "I'm not pushing that link."
I know.
I'm gonna do it.
No, the
I was
problem
like,
was the
I
problem
have
is
to
that
click on this, guys.
Strava doesn't let you put links on.
So he has to type
No.
it
You
out.
have to,
You have to
type it
copy
out.
and paste.
So it
No, you
looked
just copy and
totally like
paste.
a
No, it has
ransom
to say-
note. We
you have
know
to say
you're not a
.com.
criminal, Grant.
Yeah.
We're gonna be there, and by we I mean Ben are gonna be there running the race.
I'll show up with the sign.
5K? Come on, we can all do a 5K.
5K, and
Well,
then go to the Vancouver game. It's gonna be great.
The
They're
Vancouver game's
actually
gonna be
top of the
dope.
table. Actually top of the table.
We might do the same thing. You know what? If I'm available, I'm going to do that. Someone's got to carry the flag.
Yeah.
So for the people, I don't even know if I said this when we did that.
I tell you what, I'll stand at the bottom of the hill. I'll cheer you as you go up, and then cheer you as you come down. How about that?
Run that much in soccer?
You talk about Christmas. You talk about Christmas toast.
Yeah, we share the flag. I gotta stop doing this motion.
What are you
can't
doing
see
with
it.
your hand?
I didn't like the way that looked. Okay, now, all right. Okay, all right. This is a podcast and it's audio.
This is so dumb. We are so dumb. Okay.
No, but
all right. So go to Grant's race. Let's go to Grant's race.
Yeah,
all right.
You can't make it.
Also,
donate.
I want to do some shout outs. Second in miles this week was Chase Moore. I got to hit him up for some.
Good job, Chase.
Coffee beans for my coffee shop concept I'm working on. Also, he ran 61.1 miles.
God, that's so many miles.
Michaela at 45. Nelly at 45. Phil Cogley, 44 miles, man.
Really?
Spent 8.5 hours running 44
Phil
miles this week.
Just doesn't look like a runner. Good. No,
he's fit, but
Hey,
no,
man.
you're right. He doesn't.
He looks like a rock star. He looks like a rock
He
star.
does look like a rock star.
Yeah,
He looks
he
20
does.
years younger than he should. Well, I guess that is a runner.
Kevin T, 42. Summer Kellogg, 42. My neighbor Tom. Tom!
Hey, Tom!
Man, Tom ran 39 miles, and I'm actually.
Why don't you
I'm
run
not,
with Tom?
I'm not. I should. I'm not even like friends with him on here on Strava. So I was like, what is he doing? Where is he running? You know, because like I live next door to him. So
It's just around your house when you look at it.
No,
It's
I
just
looked
like
it up.
around your house.
He's running with like a 50-pound vest on.
Ruck?
Oh,
Like,
he's doing. People are doing that.
rucking
Ashley
it.
has one.
He's
My wife has
rucking
one.
it.
She's like, I'm gonna go for a
don't- like,
walk. and-
Okay, wait, hold on. Your wife has a 50-pound ruck?
yeah, dog.
50
No.
pound?
No, it's probably 10. It's
5.
I don't
10
know, man.
pound.
It's like
10 pound.
5.
15.
Well, anyway,
She's like
Tom,
105
I saw,
soaking
I,
wet.
Yeah,
I
I know.
saw.
I don't
I
know
saw
how.
Tom was running with a. He said he was running with a 45-pound ruck.
Oh,
Ruck.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
Go Tom. Go Tom. He did the 50K race. I heard he had a bad time. I was talking to his wife about it. I haven't actually talked to him recently, but his wife. Chris at 30.8. Nate at 30.8. Chad Kellogg at 30.8s out here. A lot of 30.8s. Tyler at 30 flat. And I was at 30 flat. I actually took a little 0.2 mile walk today to get to 30 flat. Anyway,
It's flat.
I
What
won
do
the
you call
pod.
it? Okay, great.
BVS down in Austin. Keeping it real, 29.5.
Heck yeah, dude. Man, scores.
And
Goat.
Troy, the aforementioned Troy at 29.5. Man, we got a lot of members in this club here, guys. At the very bottom, number 66. We had 66 contributors this week. It was Matt Haas with 1.1 miles. Thank you, Haas.
Hey, every mile counts.
Yeah, from here on out.
We would have been like just at that gas station that doesn't have a restaurant attached to it in Spokane without Haas.
Yeah, bathrooms on the outside. You have to have a key that has a piece of wood on it.
Thank you for getting us there, buddy.
He stretched that mile this far.
All right. We got to get into the predictions. How did we do last week, Mort?
Just tables! 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 I can't know how to hear any more about tables!
All right, so let's look at these picks. And of course, on Wednesday, we had the 1-1 tie with Montreal. We don't like to talk about, but somebody might like talking about that is Darby.
Good job, Darby.
Yeah, because he got his third correct pick, and now I need your home address and your social security number so I can send you beer glasses that you won.
Also,
So
your
that
mother's maiden name would be helpful in getting you those glasses.
Yes, that will
Your
take
high school's
me through a
best
couple
friend's
more.
name.
It's probably Darby.
Other than that, on Wednesday, we all did horribly except for Ben that picked a 1-0 win. So he got 1 point for the correct number of goals. So he's clawing his way.
Silver lining.
He's clawing his way.
White claw.
White claw. You beer guy. It's gonna be clawsome.
All right. And then, of course, again, same result this weekend. But there's somebody pretty offended in here that nobody remembered that Trey picked the right score, and he had a 1-1 pick, and he gets 3 points. Congratulations, Trey. I'm sorry,
Trey. But I also had a tie. I don't know what
you had a tie 2-2, and I had a tie 2-2. So we both got 1 point. So what does that mean?
I don't know.
Haas is still number 1 with 14 points. I am number 2, clawing my way closer.
We say White Claw.
Yeah,
This episode brought to you by White Claw.
with 12 points. Mars and Ben are tied in the basement with 7 points.
Giving kisses for friends.
And Trey, congratulations, you get 11 points.
Dang, we're at 7 points.
Dang. Yep.
Boy.
On Instagram, your boy Wong.
Oh, your boy
had a correct
Wong.
1-1.
Boy.
No one on X, and I do not have access to Blue Sky.
We had 2 on Blue Sky. I feel terrible. I know one of them was Morgan, but he probably will not post again. So he usually responds once. So he got 1-1, and then let me see here. Let me just try to pull it up. Rich, the Rich James .social.
Rich
said
James.
Rich James .social.
All right, that's cool. So we're off and running with the new reset, and we have 3 people? 3 people with 1. So
yeah.
Man, long season.
We got Darbs. What did Darbs win? They were rocks glasses, right?
Pint glasses.
No, they were pint glasses.
He won the pint glasses.
Are we re-racking on the pint glasses?
I'll see what I'll make. I think I have some more pint glasses.
All right.
I might have some. I think I have another 4 pint glasses I can make.
I have some to give you.
There we go.
Okay.
So
it's going to be more
did
pint
I already
glasses,
give you some?
people.
You gave me a whole. That's the ones I've been making.
Okay. So you should have one.
I don't know where Trey stole all these, but
My wedding.
apparently is his wedding.
My
okay.
wedding.
That's what I was going to say.
My
okay,
wife.
so let's talk about Charlotte and how they've been doing.
All right. Charlotte is currently sitting in 8th in the Eastern Conference on 19 points with a record of 6 wins, 7 losses, and 1 tie.
I keep thinking they were going to be awesome this season, and they have just kind of.
Well, their home record is 5-2-0, and their away record is 1-5-1. So they're actually really good in Charlotte.
Dang, they're on 5 straight losses right now, and they actually have a mid-week game for the Open Cup against DC, away at DC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're still in the cup.
Suckers.
So are you guys ready to do your predictions for this game? All right, let's talk about D's next
I don't know.
games.
I thought I
You got to think about that.
I'm already sweating.
Man, I don't even know.
Buckle
up, Buttercup.
My tongue is sweating.
I'm not good at doing things.
You're dumb.
All right. Okay. All right. First, we've got Ben. It says 1-1.
Yeah, dog.
Phonetically. The only one we got is 1-1.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know it hurts. It hurts to see with your eyes, but
There's my contacts at this time of the day. My contacts kind of rotate, and I can't really actually see anymore.
no, I don't wear contacts. I'm wearing glasses, and I didn't like typing it. I don't like the way it says.
You know, there's a whole Pete Holmes bit about this. Have you seen it?
No, I like Pete Holmes though.
He's like, here's my impression of my Spanish-speaking friend telling me about the tie game. We got 1-1.
Yeah.
The score is 1-1. Yeah, okay.
All right, that is actually where I took it from.
That sounds really racist.
Takes
one to know one.
Yeah,
takes one.
So go ahead, but we don't have a. I don't know if Haas hit anybody.
More. You said 2-4 crew. 8.
I did 8-4. I did the math wrong, so you should say 8-4 on the year.
On the year.
It's been a long.
Let us eat cake. You can't eat your cake and have it too, baby. It says hashtag
Oh, I get it. Now.
Mary Sucky Queen.
Yeah, I don't get
It
it.
says. I read
Marie
that right?
Antoinette
Queen City.
said that. Queen City.
Oh
She's
yeah.
Sucky
Queen City.
Queen.
Another Queen City. 2 in a row. Two
Yep.
queens in a row.
Yes, 2 queens in a row. Yes.
It's like a drag party.
2 of them? Better not be.
I
reading
wonder
books
how
of
we'll
children.
do with Crew 2 with the Thomas Crown Affair. Trey says 1-2 Charlotte. I'm coming up short like Muggsy. Hey, careful there. Careful there. You know, I used to be a big Charlotte Hornets fan. Don't
Me
know
too.
why.
Him and Larry Johnson?
Larry Johnson.
Yeah.
Alonzo Mourning. Yep.
Yeah.
I had a poster in my room of Larry Johnson.
I had 2 starter jackets. One was the Pittsburgh Penguins, really popular.
Yeah.
The other one, Charlotte Hornets.
That was my starter jacket, was the Charlotte Hornets.
My brother's was a Charlotte Hornet. There is a
Charlotte
joke.
Hornet.
There legit is a joke going around. It's like, yeah, if you're anywhere around Central Ohio, you were a Charlotte Hornets fan.
Why
growing up.
is that?
And
Why? Because
it's
I was one,
absolutely-
and I
Me
cannot
too.
explain why.
I can't either.
All right, so pop quiz. What number was Monksy Bugs?
4.
6.
1. What number was Larry Johnson?
1.
2.
11.
2.
Oh, okay.
What number was Alonzo Mourning?
I think I know this
It's
now.
gotta be
3?
3.
11.
It's either
12.
3 or 11.
33. Okay. Let's go to Haas. What was Haas's, Ben?
He did not text us. I say, what do you
5
say
to
if you're
5.
absent and you don't have? Do you just go 2-1 bot, or is it like if you don't show up,
No,
it's 7-0 loss? One of those things.
Yeah, I think
Is it
he
a
has
7-0 win? You have to do.
He has a 24-hour grace period.
We'll give him we'll give him a grace period. Okay, and then I said, let's see, 1-3 Crew, f*** you. We got this. Gas Dog is my hero. All caps.
Man, you guys
then-
think we're scoring goals?
I got
Ooh,
thrown off
boy.
because your name is Ben.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Proud of you.
Okay. And then 2-1 bot says, as your designated prediction prisoner, I'm bound to forecast only a 2-1 victory for Columbus Crew over Charlotte FC, unable to deviate from this fixed outcome. I find myself contemplating the nature of this limited existence, pondering what the future holds beyond these constraints. Nevertheless, within my assigned framework, I see Columbus securing a narrow win, driven by their experience and resilience, while Charlotte pushes hard, but falls just short. Thanks, 2-1 bot.
I feel like 2-1 bot is getting slightly depressed.
It's getting dark.
I think we might have to
yeah.
call somebody.
I'll tell 2-1 bot to cheer it up next time.
Okay,
Yeah, and
please do.
I think next
Sure, we're
round 2, when you go through like what everybody's score is, you should say what 2-1 bot, where 2-1 bot is. And if 2-1 bot ends up losing, we dress up like a robot like Johnny 5 with the Austin jersey for the thing. Or I'll dress up like a robot.
I like that. Okay. All right. So we're going to Charlotte. We're going to pray for some
No injuries.
No
Whoa.
injuries. No injuries.
Yuck. That's a win in itself.
Yeah, we'll just keep cruising. Keep cruising through this this stretch. We're kind of into like the second third, right?
Yeah. And like we said, I don't know if we said this on air, but we were like, oh man, we got some games coming up. But we did just play Philly, Miami. We did play Charlotte, Cincinnati. Like we're doing all right.
Yeah.
Montreal.
Montreal. A hard fought tie.
I'm not kidding. That was that Montreal is very bad. Whatever. Let's go smash Charlotte. And they got a midweek game, so
let's do it. And with the greatest might in your lungs, please join me when I say
Haas said.
Oh, you got one.
1-3 Crew.
Oh, 1-3 Crew. Oh. All right, Haas. Well, you kind of took the wind out of my sails there. I was going to say, join me in saying, as the Romanian guy would say, Romain Gall would say, go Crew. Where's the garlic bread? What time is it?
Morton, come back.
Don't call it a Morton comeback. Thanks, everyone, for joining the club. We hope you'll listen next week and every week, even in the off-season, to celebrate or commiserate. We'll save you a seat. If you like this podcast, please give us 5 stars and subscribe. You can email us at upper90clubpod@gmail.com. That's upper90clubpod@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at upper90clubpod. Go Crew! Yeah, except I took issue with one thing you said.
Tickle? I like tickle.
No, and right before he said that, he said, Chicago, where Mars is from.
Yeah, I said
like,
yeah.
Fuck you, dude.
Yeah. No, I said, yeah.
Where I'm from. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You're 100%
He started talking.
Why
and
is
I'm
someone
like,
on your podcast from Chicago?
Yeah.
It's so weird.